What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses walks onto a morning talk show expecting a friendly chat, only to be ambushed by a host who seems more interested in tearing her down than building her up? In just 25 seconds, a simple question about her personal life would spiral into one of the most shocking on-air clashes British television has ever witnessed, leaving the studio audience gasping and a legendary actress storming off set. The morning started like any other on the Lorraine Kelly show. The studio lights were bright, the cameras were rolling, and Kate Winslet sat comfortably on the famous orange sofa, ready to discuss her latest film project. She wore a beautiful navy blue dress, her smile warm and genuine as she waved to the enthusiastic audience. Beside Lorraine sat two regular panelists, Maya Thompson and James Crawford, both looking eager to chat with the Oscar-winning star. Lorraine opened with what seemed like a standard welcome. "Kate Winslet, everybody, so lovely to have you here. Now, let's talk about your new film. But first, I have to say, you're looking quite different from the last time we saw you." Kate's smile faltered slightly, but she maintained her composure. "Thank you for having me, Lorraine." "Yes, well, it's been a few years since I was last on the show." No, Lorraine interrupted, leaning forward with an expression that could only be described as invasive curiosity. "I mean, you look different. Heavier, if I'm being honest. Have you let yourself go a bit?" The studio fell silent. Maya Thompson's mouth dropped open, and James Crawford shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Kate's face registered shock, then confusion, then a flash of anger that she quickly tried to suppress. "I'm sorry, what did you just say?" Kate asked, her voice measured but firm. Lorraine waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, come on, Kate. We're all friends here. You can be honest with us. You've clearly put on weight. Is it for a role? Or have you just been enjoying too many biscuits?" The audience gasped audibly. Maya Thompson jumped in quickly, trying to salvage the situation. "Lorraine, I don't think that's an appropriate question to ask anyone, let alone our guest." But Lorraine shot Maya a look that could freeze water. "Excuse me, Maya, but I'm conducting this interview. Kate knows I'm just being real with her. That's what people love about this show. We don't do fake Hollywood nonsense here." Kate sat up straighter, her professional veneer cracking. "Lorraine, I came here to talk about my film, about the incredible story we're telling, about the amazing cast and crew I worked with. I didn't come here to be body-shamed on national television." "Body-shamed?" Lorraine laughed, a sharp, unpleasant sound. "Oh, please. You actresses are so sensitive these days. Back in my day, we could take a bit of criticism without falling apart." James Crawford tried to intervene. "Perhaps we could move on to discussing the film itself. Kate, I understand it's a period drama set in the Victorian era?" Kate turned to James gratefully. "Yes, thank you, James. It's actually a fascinating exploration of women's rights during that period. And the character I play is a suffragette who fights against incredible odds to make her voice heard." Speaking of voices, Lorraine cut in again, completely ignoring James's attempt to redirect the conversation. "Your accent in the film. I watched the trailer. It's a bit all over the place, isn't it?" "Not quite convincing." Kate's eyes widened in disbelief. "I worked with a dialect coach for 3 months to perfect that accent. It's based on authentic recordings from that era." "Well, it sounds ridiculous to me," Lorraine said with a shrug. "I mean, you're supposed to be this great actress, but I've seen better performances in school plays." Maya Thompson stood up from her seat. "Lorraine, this is completely out of line. Kate is our guest, and you're treating her terribly." "Sit down, Maya," Lorraine snapped. "Nobody asked for your opinion." "Actually," Kate interjected, her voice now carrying an edge of steel, "I'd very much like to hear Maya's opinion, because, unlike you, Lorraine, she seems to understand basic human decency." The audience began murmuring among themselves. Some were nodding in agreement with Kate, while others looked shocked at the escalating tension. Lorraine's face flushed red, but she pressed on. Human decency? That's rich, coming from someone who has had 3 marriages. Maybe if you spent less time jumping from relationship to relationship and more time focusing on your career, your films would actually be worth watching. The studio erupted. Audience members gasped and whispered urgently to each other. James Crawford stood up this time, his face pale. "Lorraine, you need to stop right now. This is harassment." But Kate held up her hand, silencing James. She looked directly at Lorraine with a calm that was, somehow, more terrifying than anger. "You know what, Lorraine? I've been doing interviews for over 25 years. I've sat across from hundreds of journalists, talk show hosts, and reporters. Some of them have asked tough questions. Some of them have been critical. But never, not once, has anyone been as cruel, as petty, and as unprofessional as you're being right now. Oh, here we go. Lorraine rolled her eyes. The Hollywood diva is going to lecture me about professionalism. I'm not a diva, Kate responded, her voice rising slightly. I'm a person, a human being who came here in good faith to promote a project that means a great deal to me and to talk about issues that matter. Instead, you've insulted my appearance, mocked my work, and attacked my personal life. For what? For ratings? For your own entertainment? Lorraine leaned back in her chair with a smug expression. You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You celebrities think you're above criticism. You think you can. Just waltz onto my show and expect everyone to fawn all over you. No, Kate said firmly. I expect to be treated with basic respect. The same respect I would give to anyone, whether they're an Oscar winner or someone I just met on the street. Maya Thompson moved closer to Kate, placing a supportive hand on her shoulder. Kate's absolutely right, Lorraine. This isn't criticism. This is cruelty. Lorraine stood up abruptly, her face now bright red. How dare you take her side over mine? I'm the host of this show. I made this show what it is. And you're destroying it right now, James Crawford added quietly. Everyone watching can see what you're doing. Kate took a deep breath, composing herself. I'm going to give you one chance, Lorraine. One chance to apologize, to acknowledge that what you've said and done here is wrong, and to conduct the rest of this interview like a professional. The studio fell completely silent. Every eye was on Lorraine, waiting to see what she would do. The cameras captured every second of the tense standoff. Lorraine's lips curled into a sneer. Apologize? To you? I don't think so. If you can't handle a bit of honest commentary, then maybe you should go back to Hollywood, where everyone will lie to your face and tell you how wonderful you are. That's it, Kate said, standing up from the sofa. I'm done. You can't just walk off my show, Lorraine said, her voice rising to a near shout. Watch me, Kate replied calmly, removing her microphone pack. Maya and James immediately moved to Kate's side. Maya put her arm around Kate's shoulders. We're coming with you, Maya said firmly. What? You can't, Lorraine sputtered. You're contracted to be here. Sue us, James said simply, also removing his microphone. The three of them began walking toward the exit at the side of the studio. The audience started applauding, slowly at first, then building to thunderous applause and cheers. People stood up from their seats, showing their support for Kate and their disapproval of Lorraine's behavior. Lorraine stood alone on the stage, her face a mixture of shock and rage. Fine, go. We don't need you anyway. Any of you. I can do this show by myself. Kate paused at the studio door and turned back one last time. You know what the saddest part is, Lorraine? I actually used to admire you. I thought you were smart, funny, and genuine. But this isn't genuine. This is just mean. And I feel sorry for you. Because being mean doesn't make you interesting. It just makes you small. Get out, Lorraine screamed. Get out of my studio! Kate didn't respond. She simply turned and walked through the door, followed by Maya and James. The audience's applause grew even louder, with some people whistling and cheering. Left alone on stage, Lorraine tried to regain control. Well, that was dramatic, wasn't it? Some people just can't handle the truth. Let's go to a commercial break. But before the cameras could cut away, a voice from the control room came through the studio speakers. Lorraine, we need you in the producer's office immediately. The look on Lorraine's face was one of pure panic. She realized, perhaps for the first time, that she had gone too far. The audience continued their standing ovation, not for her, but for the woman who had just walked out. In the corridor outside the studio, Kate was surrounded by crew members, offering their support and apologies. The makeup artist was nearly in tears. I'm so sorry, Kate. None of us knew she was going to do that. Kate smiled, though her hands were still shaking slightly. It's not your fault. You're all lovely. Maya kept her arm around Kate's shoulders. That was incredibly brave. Most people would have just sat there and taken it. I've spent too many years watching women be diminished and insulted. Kate said quietly, I wasn't going to sit there and let her treat me like that, and I wasn't going to let millions of people watching at home think that kind of behavior is acceptable. James nodded in agreement. You handled that with more grace than she deserved. When she started in on your appearance, I wanted to stop the interview right there. I appreciate you both standing up with me, Kate said, looking at her two unexpected allies. You didn't have to do that. Yes, we did, Maya insisted. What she did was wrong on every level. As a woman, as a broadcaster, as a human being, there's no excuse for it. A production assistant approached nervously. Miss Winslet, I've been asked to escort you to your dressing room. Your publicist is on the phone, and there's already a car waiting to take you wherever you'd like to go. Kate nodded. Thank you. She turned back to Maya and James. I hope this doesn't cause problems for you both. If it does, James said with a slight smile, then it wasn't a place worth working anyway. Back in the studio, chaos had erupted. Audience members were still buzzing with conversation, some filming on their phones, others calling friends to tell them what they had just witnessed. The producers were in full crisis mode, trying to figure out how to fill the remaining 40 minutes of the show. In the control room, the director was on the phone with senior network executives. Yes, I understand. No, we didn't know she was going to say those things. The questions weren't in the pre-interview notes at all. She went completely off script. Lorraine burst into the control room, her face still flushed. What are you all staring at? Get back to work. We have a show to finish. The producer, a stern woman named Sarah Mitchell, turned to face her. Lorraine, you need to come with me. Now. I don't need to go anywhere. Lorraine protested. I need to get back out there and finish my show. Your show? Sarah's voice was icy. After what just happened, I'm not sure this is your show anymore. Meanwhile, Kate had reached her dressing room where her publicist, Rachel, was pacing frantically. Kate, oh my God, are you okay? What happened out there? Kate sank into a chair. She ambushed me, Rachel. Every single question was designed to be hurtful. My weight, my acting, my personal life. It was like she wanted to humiliate me. Rachel's face was a mixture of concern and fury. This is unacceptable. We're going to issue a statement. We're going to make sure everyone knows what happened. No, Kate said firmly. We don't need to do that. What do you mean? Kate, you were just verbally attacked on live television. And everyone saw it, Kate pointed out. Everyone in that studio, everyone watching at home, they all saw exactly what happened. They saw her attack me unprovoked, and they saw me stand up for myself with dignity. That speaks for itself. We don't need to add fuel to the fire. Rachel hesitated. Are you sure? Because my phone is already blowing up with calls from other networks, from journalists wanting your side of the story. Tell them I have nothing to add beyond what people saw with their own eyes, Kate said. I'm not going to turn this into a media circus. I said what I needed to say in that studio. A knock at the door interrupted them. Maya Thompson poked her head in. Sorry to disturb. I just wanted to check on you one more time before we left. Come in, Kate said warmly, and thank you again for what you did out there. Maya entered, followed by James. We've both just been sacked, Maya announced with a wry smile. What? Kate stood up quickly. No, that's not fair. It's completely fair, James said. We walked off the show in solidarity with you. We knew there would be consequences. But you shouldn't have to lose your jobs because of me, Kate protested. We didn't lose our jobs because of you, Maya corrected. We lost our jobs because we refused to be complicit in bullying. There's a difference. Rachel was already on her phone. I'm calling my contacts. I can get you both representation, interviews, opportunities. What you did today was news. People will want to hear from you. That's very kind, Maya said. But honestly, we're okay. We both have other projects we've been wanting to pursue. This might be the push we needed. Kate hugged them both. You're remarkable people, both of you. Back in the studio, the situation was deteriorating further. The remaining audience members were being asked to leave early as producers scrambled to figure out what to do. Some audience members were openly complaining, saying they had waited months for tickets and deserved to see a full show. One woman stood up and addressed the producers directly. We don't want to see the rest of the show if it means watching that woman continue. What she did to Kate Winslet was disgusting, and frankly, I'm ashamed I ever watched this program. Her comments were met with applause from other audience members. The sentiment was clear. Lorraine had lost the room, and possibly much more than that. In Sarah Mitchell's office, Lorraine sat across from 3 senior executives. Her earlier bravado had completely evaporated, replaced by a defensive panic. It was just banter, Lorraine insisted for the 3rd time. Kate's too sensitive. She overreacted. Lorraine, Sarah said slowly, as if speaking to a child, You commented on her weight, insulted her acting ability, and mocked her personal relationships. On what planet is that banter? I was just being honest. That's what viewers want. Real talk. One of the executives, a silver-haired man named Robert, shook his head. No, Lorraine, what viewers want is entertainment, insight, and respect for guests. What you did out there was cruel. And the fact that you can't see that is deeply concerning. So, what are you saying? Lorraine demanded. You're going to fire me over this? We're saying that there will be an investigation, Sarah replied. We need to review what happened, talk to everyone involved, and determine the appropriate course of action. This is ridiculous, Lorraine said, standing up. I've been with this network for years. I've made you millions. And you're going to throw me away because some precious actress couldn't take a joke? Sit down, Robert said firmly. And I suggest you start taking this seriously. What happened today has already gone viral on social media. The network is being flooded with complaints. Sponsors are calling to express concerns. This isn't going away. Meanwhile, Kate had changed out of her dress and into comfortable clothes. She was ready to leave, eager to put the entire experience behind her. As she walked through the backstage area toward the exit, crew members continued to approach her, offering apologies and support. The head camera operator, a man who had been with the show for years, stopped her. Miss Winslet, I just want you to know that what you did today was important. A lot of us have watched Lorraine become more and more difficult, more mean-spirited, but we felt powerless to do anything. You stood up to her, and you showed everyone that behavior like that isn't acceptable. Kate touched his arm gently. Thank you for saying that. But really, I just did what anyone should do when they're being treated poorly. I spoke up. Not everyone would have, he replied, especially not with the cameras rolling. As Kate finally made it to the exit where her car was waiting, she paused and looked back at the building. Part of her felt sad that what should have been a pleasant interview had turned into such a nightmare, but another part of her felt empowered, strong, and proud of how she had handled herself. Rachel joined her, having finished her calls. The car's ready. Where would you like to go? Home? Kate said simply. I just want to go home. As they drove away from the studio, Kate's phone began buzzing with messages of support from fellow actors, directors, and friends. People she hadn't spoken to in years were reaching out to tell her they had seen what happened and were proud of her. One message from a young actress she had mentored years ago read, You have no idea how much I needed to see someone stand up like that today. Thank you for showing me that it's okay to defend yourself. Kate smiled as she read it. Maybe something good would come from this awful experience after all. Maybe other people would feel emboldened to speak up when they were being treated poorly. Maybe hosts would think twice before attacking their guests. Back at the studio, Lorraine sat alone in her dressing room, finally beginning to understand the magnitude of what she had done. Her phone was also buzzing, but not with messages of support. Instead, she was seeing the social media reaction, watching clips of the incident being shared thousands of times, reading comment after comment condemning her behavior. One comment stopped her cold. I've watched this show for 10 years, but after seeing how she treated Kate Winslet, I'm done. Unsubscribed, unfollowed, and I'll never watch again. There's no excuse for that kind of cruelty. For the first time since the interview had ended, Lorraine felt something other than anger or defensiveness. She felt fear. Fear that she had made a mistake she couldn't undo. Fear that she had destroyed something that had taken years to build. Fear that, in her attempt to create dramatic television, she had instead created her own downfall. A knock on her dressing room door made her jump. It was Sarah Mitchell again. Lorraine, we need to talk about next steps. Next steps? Lorraine repeated weakly. The network has decided that you'll be taking an immediate leave of absence while we conduct our investigation. You're not to come to the studio. You're not to contact any staff members, and you're not to make any public statements without clearing them through legal first. The reality of the situation crashed down on Lorraine all at once. This wasn't just a bad interview. This was a career-ending mistake. How long? She asked quietly. As long as it takes, Sarah replied. I suggest you use this time to reflect on what happened and why. And Lorraine, if I were you, I'd consider issuing a genuine apology. Not a non-apology where you blame Kate for being sensitive. An actual, heartfelt apology for your behavior. After Sarah left, Lorraine sat in the empty dressing room, surrounded by photos and mementos from years of broadcasting. She thought about how the interview had started, how she had planned to ask those provocative questions, thinking it would make for great television. She thought about the moment when Kate's face had changed from friendly to shocked. And she thought about the applause the audience had given Kate as she walked out, applause that had never been meant for Lorraine. In that moment, sitting alone in the silence, Lorraine finally understood what she had done. She had taken a talented, respected actress who had come to her show in good faith and had torn her down for entertainment. She had prioritized drama over decency, ratings over respect, and now she was paying the price. The question was whether the price would be her career, her reputation, or both. Only time would tell. But one thing was certain. This morning's interview would be remembered not as a triumph of honest journalism, but as a cautionary tale about what happens when cruelty masquerades as candor. As the sun began to set over the city, Kate Winslet was safe at home, surrounded by people who loved and supported her. She had handled an impossible situation with grace and strength. She had shown that standing up for yourself doesn't require shouting or aggression. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply refuse to accept unacceptable behavior. State your boundaries clearly and walk away with your dignity intact. And somewhere, in living rooms and offices across the country, people who had watched the interview were having conversations about respect, about boundaries, about how we treat each other. They were questioning whether the pursuit of entertaining television justified cruelty toward guests. They were asking themselves what they would have done in Kate's position. The interview had lasted less than 15 minutes, but its impact would be felt for much longer. It had revealed something important about both women involved. One who understood that fame and success never justify treating people poorly, and one who had forgotten that basic truth in her quest for ratings and relevance. In the end, the orange sofa where so many celebrities had sat for friendly chats had become a battlefield. And the woman who had walked away from that battlefield with her head held high had won not through aggression or retaliation, but through dignity, clarity, and an unwavering commitment to being treated with the respect that every human being deserves. The cameras had captured every moment, every word, every expression, and now the world had seen what happens when someone finally says enough is enough.